Monday, and the campus prepares for finals week.
The crucial Senate race in Georgia was finally settled yesterday, and Brittney Griner has been freed from Russia in the prisoner's swap. All this and more right here on WCTV.
And now, your 5 o'clock news on Channel 14.
Welcome back to Channel 14 News. I'm Brock Owens.
And I'm Caleb Yager. The Christmas season is in full swing at Waynesburg University after the light-up night on campus last week. Darian Allensworth has more.
On Wednesday, November 30th, the Students' Activities Board hosted Light Up Night in the Johnson Commons with one simple goal: to bring the Christmas spirit to Waynesburg University students. While Santa Claus and his little helpers handed out treat bags, students lined up for SAB workers who were serving hot chocolate and a bunch of baked desserts. This opportunity to Heidi Ziak, who is a resident director here in Waynesburg.
It's a really great time. I really love getting to do activities with students. Just because, I do work here at the university. I work with a lot of faculty and staff, right? But getting to know students and getting to see how much joy the holiday brings them just means the absolute world to me.
Students use this opportunity to get away from studying and to relax for preparing for finals. For some students,
it means a lot. I mean, it's really fun to see all different kinds of people come together on this campus and come together in the Christmas spirit and just have a good time together.
Yeah, I think it's a really nice break from your classes and studying and stuff to be able to come together with the people on campus and with your friends to take a break and enjoy the Christmas season.
For Channel 14 News, I'm Darian Allensworth.
President Lee held a press conference for student media on Monday, and he outlined 3 focuses of the university: enhancing the reputation of the university, growing learning experiences, and maintaining the financial strength of the university. In order to achieve all 3, he said that connecting with both alumni and people close to the university is important.
And so grow the reputation, grow the learning experiences and the programs for the students, and then maintain as best as you can the financial strength of the university in these crazy times. And so we've been working very hard at growing relationships, both with alumni, but also people from outside of the university community that really have never heard about Waynesburg.
Lee gave updates on renovations, upgrades, and new facilities. Some important projects that he noted were upgrades to the campus radio station, new molecular MRI machine for the chemistry and forensic science department, and upgrades at both John F. Wiley Stadium and the Rudy Marisa Fieldhouse. He also gave an update for the Center for Entrepreneurial Leadership, or EHIVE. And so far, the university has raised half of the $1 million needed to complete construction and renovations, and he expects all the necessary funds to be raised within the next several months.
The mission at Waynesburg University is to educate students to make connections between faith, learning, and serving, right? So if you go into the bottom of Stover, you'll see Faith, Center for Christian Ministry. You'll see Serving, our service leadership. Look to the left where the EHIVE will go. It's learning, entrepreneurial thinking, problem solving, analytical, critical thinking. That's what you're being taught here. Why is that important? Because that's what employers want when you graduate. That's the single most important thing for them. They want people to know how to solve problems. So now we have this entrepreneurial leadership center that we put in place. That EHIVE entrepreneurial leadership, as you know, won a national award. We're now known as an institution that's a rising star for teaching entrepreneurial leadership in the classroom. Again, reputation.
Lee also revealed a new partnership between Waynesburg University, the Borough of Waynesburg, and Greene County to improve the parks at the center of campus. The result of that partnership? A $250,000 grant to improve lighting and sidewalks. It's the first partnership to improve the parks in 200 years.
That's huge here. If you look at the parks and now what we're going to be able to do, make the fountain a little more operational. Lake Juanita needs some love, doesn't it? I mean, it's nice it has lily pads, but I'm not sure what else is growing in there. We need to fix that.
For more coverage of the President's News Conference, check out the latest edition of the Yellow Jacket in stands all across campus. This is the last print edition of the semester, and it covers Christmas events all around the area and previews of the upcoming seasons for Waynesburg's spring teams. Next semester, the Yellow Jacket will kick off its 100th year in circulation, continuing to cover the campus and the community.
Finals week is next week, and it's important to know when your finals are. The schedule can be found on MyConnect by clicking the link to the registrar's forms and finding the Fall 2022 final schedule.
The SAB will be hosting 3 study breaks for students who need a break from studying. It all starts on Monday night with the President's Breakfast. On Tuesday night, there will be a dip bar in the Benedum Dining Hall, and then on Wednesday, there will be a cereal and donut bar in Benedum as well. And all 3 events start at 9:30 p.m. That's all for campus and national news. When we come back, there will be news from around the nation. This is producer Caleb Yager, and you are watching The Buzz. Welcome back to the final newscast of the fall semester, live at 5. The midterms dust has finally settled, and Democratic Senator Raphael Warnock won his runoff in Georgia on Tuesday night. The victory paints a clear picture of the exact makeup of the next U.S. Congress. But with Herschel Walker's loss, Republicans are now pointing fingers. CNN's Manu Raju picks up the details from here.
The next 2 years of President Joe Biden's term now looking a bit brighter, after gaining an additional Senate seat on the heels of Raphael Warnock's win in Georgia over Republican Herschel Walker.
After 1 year, 10 months, and 17 days of the longest 50-50 Senate in history, 51, a slim majority.
Democrats now have additional breathing room to confirm Biden's nominees and new power to issue subpoenas. The result leaving Republicans reeling.
It was frustrating. I was optimistic that we would get a majority.
It comes after Republicans also fell short in Pennsylvania, New Hampshire, Arizona, and Nevada, all states they had hoped to win. At the heart of the GOP criticism, the role of Donald Trump, who handpicked Walker and several other candidates who faltered in the general election, stumping late on the campaign trail for Republicans who ultimately lost.
Was Donald Trump a problem this year?
Democrats in many cases were able to kind of turn it into a choice election because of Trump's presence out there, because a lot of the candidates that had problems in these elections were running on the 2020 election being stolen. And I don't think independent voters were having it.
Utah GOP Senator Mitt Romney calling Trump's endorsement the kiss of death, and retiring Pennsylvania Republican Pat Toomey saying Walker's loss is another example that, quote, the Trump obsession is very bad for Republicans. Trump defenders pushing back.
If the answer to everything in town is Trump's problem, then you're missing the boat.
Some directing their ire at Senate GOP leader Mitch McConnell for refusing to embrace an election year agenda.
No agenda. No agenda.
I believe we ought to have a Republican agenda and give people a real purpose for how to vote, why to vote for us.
Yet many blame Rick Scott's Senate campaign arm for staying out of GOP primaries in 2022, with GOP leaders now calling on the party to intervene in primaries in the 2024 cycle, when Democrats are defending 23 seats and Republicans just 11.
Should you have taken a more active role and try to prop up the candidates would have been more electable?
I trust voters.
But even Trump allies say that the former president has been damaged as he seeks his party's nomination in 2024.
I think he's in a good spot to get the nomination, but he's got to prove to people he can win.
The former president declared his intent to run again in early November.
Brittney Griner is coming back to the U.S. Just a few hours ago, the WNBA star was released from Russian detention as part of a prisoner swap for convicted Russian arms dealer Viktor Bout. That's according to a source familiar with the situation. Bout is a former Soviet military officer who had been serving a sentence in the U.S. for numerous charges, including conspiring to kill Americans. Griner had been in the Kremlin's custody since February when she was arrested on drug smuggling charges. Paul Whelan, another American the U.S. State Department says is being wrongfully detained in Moscow, was not included in the prisoner swap.
The New York Attorney General's office is asking a judge to reject former President Donald Trump's efforts to block the state from gaining access to his records in his personal trust. State lawyers called Trump a disgruntled litigant who is trying to evade the jurisdiction of a judge who has repeatedly ruled against him. It comes after Trump filed for a temporary injunction in Florida last month to block access to documents from his revocable trust, which he set up to hold his assets when he became president in 2017. The trust, which is based in Florida, owns the assets and properties at the center of a $250 million fraud lawsuit brought against Trump by New York Attorney General Letitia James in September. Trump has denied any wrongdoing and claims the lawsuit is politically motivated.
Facebook owner Meta is threatening to remove all news content from its sites if Congress passes a law allowing organizations to negotiate with tech companies to distribute their stories. The bill would allow news groups to bargain collectively with tech companies to get a larger share of ad revenue in exchange for providing websites like Facebook access to their news content. There are reporters Congress will add to the Journalism Competition and Preservation Act to the Defense Authorization Bill. That may create an easier path for the legislation to pass. A spokesperson for Meta said Monday if Congress approves the legislation, the company would be forced to remove all news content from its platforms. The tech industry strongly opposes the bill.
Snow and fog contributed to a 30-vehicle pileup in Washington state Wednesday morning. 18 cars and 12 semi-trucks crashed on Interstate 90 near Ellensburg. At least one of the trailers spilled its contents on the highway when it turned sideways. Washington State Patrol troopers say only minor injuries were reported. All eastbound lanes of traffic had to be closed for cleanup, and authorities say freezing fog was the main contributor, but troopers say speed was also a factor in the pileup.
The District of Columbia's Attorney General is suing Amazon on behalf of its delivery drivers. The suit claims that e-commerce giant improperly used customer tips to reduce what it owed its drivers' wages. Attorney General Carl Racine alleges that Amazon changes its payment model in 2016 without notifying the customers or drivers. The Federal Trade Commission worked out a settlement last year with Amazon about the issue. As a result, the company agreed to pay out more than $61 million to its drivers. But Racine says he's suing because the FTC never fined Amazon or its deceptive practice. Amazon says it's changed its payment model for the drivers in 2019, and the lawsuit filed Tuesday has no merit.
And that's all for national news. When we come back, Rebecca Vaughn will give you your business and entertainment update here on Channel 14 News. But first, we have Gwen Napier outside with a quick look at the weather.
It's currently 47 degrees and cloudy here in Waynesburg. Stay tuned for a full weather update later in the newscast.
Welcome back. I'm Rebecca Vaughn, and this is your business and entertainment update here on the final newscast of the semester. The FBI director is doubling down on his concerns surrounding the popular social media platform TikTok, saying it poses a serious threat to U.S. national security. In today's Consumer Watch, Jen Sullivan has a look at the threats the app poses to your phone and your personal data.
Sounding the alarm on TikTok, the FBI's director is joining a growing chorus cautioning the social media platform is a national security threat.
The Chinese government has shown a willingness to steal Americans' data on a scale that dwarfs any other.
While speaking at the University of Michigan, FBI Director Christopher Wray said the video sharing app, which is owned by Chinese company ByteDance, is collecting data from U.S. users for spying purposes and could gain access to your device through software. He also warns the Chinese government could manipulate content on the app with its recommendation algorithm.
All of these things are in the hands of a government that doesn't share our values.
Last month, the FCC commissioner also called for a nationwide TikTok ban, and earlier this year urged Apple and Google to remove it from their app stores. And last week, South Dakota's governor banned state employees from using the app on government devices. Experts recommend you think twice before downloading it on your phone.
You have a Chinese-owned app that has incredible AI. It's very, very addictive.
Political risk consultant Ian Brennan says the U.S. will likely take a more cautious approach and says he doesn't expect the U.S. government to suddenly ban TikTok nationally.
The U.S. wants to go after issues that are of direct national security concern to the United States, like advanced semiconductors used by the military-industrial complex in China.
For today's Consumer Watch, I'm Jen Sullivan.
FBI Director Christopher Wray's latest comments come 1 month after he appeared before a House Homeland Security Committee meeting. He warned that TikTok could be a serious threat to national security. With the longest wait times for high-end iPhones in 15 years, Apple is looking to move production out of China. Ongoing problems with COVID restrictions, supply chain issues, and labor unrest in China are forcing Apple to investigate alternatives. Those could include new factories in other countries like Vietnam or India. The potential shift in production comes on top of more than 5 years of heightened U.S.-China military and economic tensions. U.S. tariffs established under the Trump administration have added to some of that as well. At one point, 85% of all iPhone Pros were made in a factory run by Foxconn in Zhengzhou, China. Industry analysts say Apple needs to diversify its manufacturing if it wants to continue its growth. A sad tradition has been carried out in Hollywood. David Daniel has that and more in today's Hollywood Minute.
The Hollywood Historic Trust placed flowers on Kirstie Alley's Walk of Fame star in memory of the Cheers and Look Who's Talking actress. Her children say she died Monday, not long after she was diagnosed with cancer. Kirstie Alley was 71. If just one performance of The Nutcracker isn't enough for you this December, Stage Access has you covered. The performing arts streaming service is offering 9 different productions of the Christmas classic from around the world. The Sugar Plum Fairies and Toy Soldiers are available until December 31st. More details at stageaccess.com.
You go on social media and you feel like a loser. The message is that a better life is about more. Making a lot of money might make you feel good, but it won't make your kids love you.
Here's what we can show you from the first trailer for The Subtle Art of Not Giving a based on Mark Manson's best-selling self-help book. The film is in select theaters January 4th and on digital January 10th. In Hollywood, I'm David Daniel.
Actress Priyanka Chopra Jonas says she's finally earning as much as her male co-star after 2 decades in the movie industry. In an interview with the BBC, Indian star revealed she never had pay parity in all the years she worked in Bollywood. She said she's done around 60 movies, but she would get paid about 10% of what the male actors made. Chopra Jonas said made a foray into Hollywood about a decade ago. She revealed she had just received pay parity for the first time ever for her role in Amazon Prime Video's upcoming sci-fi spy series, Citadel. Chopra Jonas won the Miss World pageant in 2000. She made her first Bollywood movie 2 years later. That's all for business and entertainment. Next up after the break is Logan Lepiscopo with all the latest in Waynesburg sports.
Hello, I'm Logan Lepiscopo, and this is your Waynesburg Sports Update here on Channel 14. Men's basketball faced off last night versus Pitt Greensburg and brought in its second straight win, winning 70-60. Despite Pitt Greensburg creeping up on Waynesburg's lead in the second half, the Yellow Jackets were able to hold on and leave Pitt Greensburg with a victory. Anton Baker got the start in this matchup, and if you attended the game, I hope you brought your umbrella, because Baker didn't just cause little raindrops, he made it pour, finishing with 16 points, shooting 77.8% from the field, and grabbing 12 rebounds. Grad student Matt Popek finished with 19 points, and senior Ryan Feldberg came off the bench, finished with 14. The team will play again on Saturday in the Rudy Marisa Fieldhouse, hosting the Geneva Golden Tornadoes, hailing not from Niagara Falls, but Beaver Falls. On Alumni Day, tip-off is set for 3 p.m. Women's basketball sits at 0-7 overall and 0-4 in the PAC so far this season. Tonight, the Lady Jays have a chance to change that, hosting Pitt Greensburg at the Rudy Marisa Fieldhouse. The Waynesburg University Sports Network will leave you in a trance, covering all the action. Carter Newcomb and Caleb Yager will have the call. Tip-off is set for 7. The men and women's indoor track and field teams had their first meet of the season this past Friday at Youngstown State University. The highlight of the day was none other than PAC Track Athlete of the Week, junior Isaiah Matthews. Bring all the money to Matthews after setting 2 new school records, one being the fastest 200-meter dash time in Waynesburg history of 22.74 seconds. The second being the first Yellow Jacket to have a sub-7-second 60-meter dash, posting a time of 6.99 seconds. The indoor track and field teams will not have another meet until after our winter break here at Waynesburg University. In its inaugural season, the esports team has done nothing but impress. Eastern University, I can't save you from this Rocket League team you will be facing in an NECC Regional Championship Friday night. The Rocket League team looks to complete an undefeated season in a best-of-7 series versus previously mentioned Eastern University. The Super Smash Bros. Single playoffs are still underway, and last night, our producer of the newscast, Tim Durkin, or should I say him Durkin, completed a reverse sweep against Arcadia's Vinman. There will always be heroes and villains, but last night, Durkin turned into a superhero. Durkin's journey through the playoffs will resume on Friday when he takes on Zamu from New Jersey City University, a name Durkin's familiar with, as Zamu was the lone man to hand him a loss during the regular season. The Waynesburg University wrestling team traveled to York, Pennsylvania for the York College of Pennsylvania Invitational. Junior Colby Morris let everyone feel the fire as he took home the 174-pound title and continues his undefeated season, improving to 8-0. He was also just recently named as the number 7 ranked 174-pound D3 wrestler according to the NWCA. Senior Harley Constable and sophomore Seth Evans both finished 2-2 in the Invitational. The team will travel to Muskingum next to face off against the host, Muskingum, and Mount St. Joseph Saturday at 7 p.m. That's the latest for Waynesburg sports. Stay tuned for your weather forecast with Gwen Napier. That's coming up next here on Channel 14 News.
You're watching WCTV, where we aim to bring you the best local coverage of what you care about most. Everything from local businesses to hometown sports and the latest weather. We're keeping up to date with what you need to know about issues that affect our campus and our community. We're telling the stories that matter, celebrating our past, our future, and our potential. So tune in for all the latest buzz right here on WCTV Channel 14, Waynesburg.
and welcome to your weather update. I'm Gwen Napier. Tonight will be a low of 33 degrees with cloudy skies becoming mostly clear after midnight. Heading into tomorrow, it's going to be a high of 52 and a low of 36. We'll be seeing a few clouds in the early morning, otherwise mostly sunny skies and some occasional rain overnight. Saturday, we'll be still seeing temperatures around the 50s with a high of 50 and a low of 39, accompanied by overcast throughout the day and occasional showers overnight. Sunday, we'll start to see the temperatures drop with a high being 47 and a low 34. And once again, we will be seeing overcast and occasional rain throughout the day. Monday, it's really going to start feeling like December with a high of 40 and a low of 27 and cloudy skies throughout the day. Tuesday, we'll start to see those temperatures rise again with a high of 46 and a low of 33. Wednesday being a high of 47 and a low of 41 with periods of rain throughout the day, and Thursday a high of 49 and a low of 41. And yep, you guessed it, we will be seeing rain once again. Obviously, as you can see by my appearance, I'm excited for Christmas and I'm ready to see some snow, but I guess I will just have to settle for rain. I'm Gwen Napier and this has been your last weather update of the semester.
Well, thank you very much, Gwen Napier, for the weather update, guys. This is it, the final newscast of the semester. Overall thoughts of how everything went for the fall 2022 semester. Rebecca?
I think that everything went pretty smoothly. You know, we worked hard, we did what we could, and we made improvements along the way. I'm pretty proud of the work that we did throughout this semester.
I'm going to agree with you. It's my first semester on the newscast, and I'd say I've had my fair share up here on the table with you all. I think it's went fairly well from both behind the desk and behind the scenes.
Well, Brock, for both you and I, the final one, any final thoughts?
Well, I mean, it's just been great to see this show grow over the last couple of years, and I'm really excited to see it continue to grow. But for a couple of guys that are going in the news after they graduate college, I don't want to speak for you too much, Caleb, but I think I can convincingly say that this show has certainly meant quite a bit to the two of us over the last couple of years.
Oh, absolutely. I would say that this is what really struck up my passion for getting into news and just seeing it grow over the years and adding a lot more content and new ideas to it. This has been a really, really cool show to be a part of, and I'm really thankful for it.
I just echo all the sentiment that Caleb just said, but sadly, that's all the time we have for our final newscast of the semester. And signing off one final time for Channel 14 News, I'm Brock Owens.
This has been a production of Waynesburg Community Television.